is I hate being cold, but I choose to go through cold every single day. I'd
Yep.
get in the cold plunge, and it helps me tremendously with like my knees
Mhm.
and everything. But aside from that, I hate it.
Yep.
It's
It just takes
terrible.
me forever to warm up. That's my problem. I can cool down
Let's
pretty
move that
easily.
closer.
I can move down or cool down pretty easily, but to warm up, it takes me forever. And
Yeah, well, especially in your line of work,
yeah,
right? Like
yep,
you are out in the elements,
yep, yep. Snow, ice,
snow, ice.
rain, just I on those days I try to bring coffee and keep the truck going or whatever. And yeah, and I
There,
can't wear too much in the wintertime because I don't want to sweat either.
right. So
So
there's a good balance. Are you a Carhartt kind of guy?
uh, yeah, or either that or some kind of like down vest or something or something. I can't, a button down, long button down sleeve or shirt and like a hoodie in the wintertime and maybe some gloves, and that's about it. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's difficult. I remember I used to do I gotta switch cameras. Hold on, sorry. I used to do work outside. I used to tree trim,
hmm
and finding a good balance. Like you would start off the day with like a jacket and a hoodie and like some sort of like long underwear shirt, like thermal shirt. And then by the end of the day, after dragging
yeah,
brush all day long, you're in that thermal
yep,
shirt out in like -1 degree weather.
yep, yep.
It's
Nope,
terrible.
I've been there too, so I get it.
Um, so thanks again for joining me on the podcast.
Yeah, good to be here.
We're rolling, we're live. So we just kind of eased into the conversation.
Yeah,
Um, so what's new? What's been going on?
not much. Just getting ready for a busy season here in the spring and summer. Not sure if it'll ever warm up, but I it's almost feels like fall season, and everybody can open up the cider mills. It's that cold. So
The donuts and
yep,
the cider.
yep, yep. It's good stuff.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, the weather has been kind of crazy. We just got hit by a tornado, like we were just talking, and you got some brush, and there was some crazy houses that were destroyed. My work was destroyed. There's actually, I was telling you, we had a bunch of destruction. The paint shop got ripped open. You
hmm
could see right through the paint shop. It was kind of
Yep.
wild. Um, but yeah. So, did any of that affect your work?
Not really. I was able to get down through most of the roads around here, and thankfully, with everybody that lives around here kind of pitching in together, cleaning up the roads, getting the roads clear. It wasn't too much of a hassle.
Yeah. Um, Now, for the audience and the people listening, please explain what kind of work you do and I guess where you do it. You live in the Lansing area,
Yep,
but
yep. Live in Grand Ledge here, and so I'm a farrier. So if you don't know what that is, I basically take care of horses anywhere from the knee down. I'm kind of responsible for trimming their feet, putting shoes on, things like that. That's kind of my day to day work, and yeah, so that's what I do.
is that a difficult job?
It can be, yeah. Every day's different. I think that's what makes it exciting and rewarding. It's not the same thing every day. I'm not just punching a time card. I think I'm making a difference in the world, and just extremely thankful for what I do. Very blessed to do what I do. I think I consider it a privilege to do what I do. So I definitely don't take it for granted by any means.
And how long have you done that?
I've been doing it for 8 years now.
And you started your own business.
Yep. Start
What's the name of your business?
Ballard Farrier Services.
Okay. And do you have like a list of clientele, or do you just take on clients that call, like a one-time thing?
Yeah, take on clients and put them on a schedule. So in the spring, summer, and early fall, they're on about a 6 week cycle, and then in the wintertime, about 8 weeks.
What kind of training and skills go into being a farrier?
I mean, there's a lot. You can either go to school or you can apprentice or you can do both. I certainly recommend um, at least apprenticing under somebody that has been doing this for a while and But school is a good option. I went to school. I went to school in Kentucky at the Kentucky Horseshoe School, and
What a great place for that, right? With the
yeah, yep,
Kentucky Derby.
yep. It's a beautiful state. I love the people there, and there's other great schools out there, but for what the school offered, I thought that that was a good fit for me.
Is it a school specifically for that?
Yep, it's a school specifically to learn how to become a farrier. And then as soon as I got out, I immediately fell into an apprenticeship, and they set that up for me. So just eternally grateful for everybody at the Kentucky Horseshoe School, Mitch and Sarah Taylor. Just, a big blessing in my life. Had a teacher, Sam Gooding, and Stan Mullen as well. And yeah, just very, very thankful and grateful for them. I don't know if they know the impact that they've had on my life, but just eternally grateful for all of them.
When you're going to school for something like that, what is, what I mean, like, what kind of things are you learning that you couldn't learn, I guess, necessarily in the field? Like on
Um,
a in a, um, uh, internship type of thing?
I don't think it's necessarily anything you can't learn. I think it's slow down a little bit. You're not in the truck with somebody, trying to learn and get through the day in an efficient way. I think things are slowed down a little bit in school, and you can take your time a little bit more to learn the craft. And so I think in that aspect, school is a little bit different, and you can slow things down, learn it at your pace, and eventually finish school and get into a good apprenticeship.
Is it a 4-year program?
Well, here in the United States, there is no minimum requirement. Anybody could go and get supplies and tools and put their sign out and take on work. Over in Europe, there's a minimum requirement with a 4-year apprenticeship, and over there, it's licensed. Here in the United States, it's not.
Do you see any problems with that?
Uh, I don't know. I've talked to people from Europe, and I've kind of heard their point of view with licensing, whether they like it or not like it. Um, but here in the United States, I think there's farriers that are incredibly talented with what they do. They're not licensed, but there's different certifications you can go through, and through different associations like the American Farriers Association, which is a incredible association with the work that they do, not only here in the United States, but around the world. And just their drive to be great at what they do and their standard of excellence, and just the networking that goes through with these different associations. The friends that I've met, the things that I've learned has been worth every dollar I've spent and more. And so, when I hear people kind of make excuses of why not to pursue certification, things like that, to me, it doesn't really make a lot of sense of why they may not want to pursue those things. Um, but I know, in my own uh, uh, style of what I do, things like that. I've seen just amazing things happen for myself that really wouldn't have been possible without a lot of these people that I've met and networked with. And I give a lot of credit to the American Farriers Association for setting those things up.
So, is there, like, a certain standard that people should follow or have to follow?
I think it's however you want to uh have your business go. You can be as busy as you want.
So, like, legally and ethically, there's really not.
No, not
Okay.
really. And I obviously think that that's a problem. But I think, the more we educate some farriers out there and try to bring them around, I think, it only benefits us. And, I've seen a lot of people that have kind of been spinning their wheels, not really going anywhere, get hooked up with either their state association or or the national association, and just have really made a turnaround in their career.
In a positive way.
Oh, absolutely. Yep.
Wow. Yeah, I would assume that when you go to school for something like that, it would just only benefit you,
Mhm.
and you're obviously your knowledge of whatever could happen is very vast and greater,
Yep.
right?
And I tell people, when they come to these clinics and competitions, things like that, it's not like you're gonna know any less by coming to these things. And if your work's being put in front of your peers, so there is, I think, a little bit of intimidation, I guess you could say, there. But you get to know some of these people, and a lot of them just become dear friends of yours, and the worry goes away, and because they just want you to do better. They, really, they're there to see you to do your best and improve, and do what's best for the horse.
Um, Now, I had a question lined up. I don't remember what it was, but I have another question. What kind of horses are you working with
I just
or
work,
on? Do you
yeah,
would you say on like working on like a
work on,
car?
work with, yeah. I work with a wide variety of horses, from little ponies to big draft horses and anywhere in between. If it's got four legs and a client that pays, I'll go do him, and he stands good, I'll go do him. So I don't discriminate on what horses I do. There's, some farriers out there that they stick to a discipline, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. That's just what they like to
A
do.
discipline meaning
Like English, Western,
okay.
dressage, eventing, things like that.
How many different breeds of horses are there?
Oh, there's too many to count
Too
with
many.
yeah, with all the different
Crossbreeding
breeding
is
that they're doing. I've seen many, but I probably haven't seen them all.
what is the standard this is so off topic, but like what is the standard price of a horse?
Oh, that just
That probably varies
it
widely too,
varies
right?
varies, where what state you're in, what country you're in, what you're looking for in a horse.
What's the most expensive?
Uh, into the millions.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's
I
crazy.
mean, you can find some of these horses, especially some of these thoroughbreds that race for the Derby or different things like that, into the millions, and you can find horses that are free. And I always tell people, I'm like, free horses eventually become the most expensive horses because there's a reason that they're free
Right.
sometimes. But yeah, it's a wide variety of prices, and kind of whatever fits your budget.
Now, you said you started this 8 years ago,
Mhm.
right? What were you doing prior to that?
So prior to going to school, I was just, working jobs here and there. I was in college to get my degree in uh, history, and just didn't see the debt to income ratio making a lot of sense to me. And so in between, while going to school, I was working at a couple different jobs, but it just was minimum wage, and minimum wage doesn't pay the bills really. And so I wanted to find something that I could still include horses into my life.
Did you grow up around
I
horses?
did, yep. My parents, my grandparents, aunts, uncles, they all had them. So I was born into it, and so I consider myself very lucky to have done that. And But, yeah, so I was just working jobs here and there, and, just trying to figure life out, and I got to about 21 and I said, "All right, I need to kinda get serious with life." I'm a couple years out of high school, and, I'm going nowhere, and,
Where
you
were you
know
going to school for history?
Oakland University.
Okay.
Yep. And, so anyways, yeah, I looked at my options, and, talked to a couple people, and I said, "Well, let me try to do this Farrier deal." And I knew a little bit about it, just talking to the farriers that came and did our family's horses, things like that, but had no idea just the uh, world beyond that of how extensive it is, and different avenues that you can go down, things like that. So when I went off to school, my eyes were really opened, um, about the trade and everything that it entails.
Um, Now what does like a normal day to day day to day look like to you? Like when you wake up, you get going for the
Yeah.
day.
So
Do you set your own schedule?
I do. So that's, the benefit, I guess you can say, about owning your own business, running your own business practice, whatever you want to call it. And so, there's days that I get up 6, 7 a.m., get breakfast if I have time, and hop in the truck, make sure I've got all my supplies, everything like that I need for the day, and head down the road. And, I can be under my first horse by 8 a.m. and try to be under my last horse by 5:30 and head home.
How many horses do you work on typically in a day?
It depends. It just, you know, um, I could have a half day and work on X amount of horses, and full day and work on, a lot more. So it just depends on the day and my schedule. And some weeks are just jam packed, and other weeks are, slow, which, I think that it's a good balance. I think you need to have a good balance.
How many horses do you typically work on at a time?
Uh, in a day, probably about 10 to 15 a day.
Whoa.
So, yep. But, there could be days that I work on 2 or 3, and then, I go home and get things done around the house. And
What is this is what does a hard day look like?
oh man, I don't know. I mean, I
Like a hard day for me when I'm at work, like the line is going so fast. It's like nonstop
yep,
moving. It's hot, you're sweaty. Bosses are up our butts
yep.
and
I guess a hard day for me would be when I'm running behind schedule and it's wintertime. Those are hard days for me because try to stick to a schedule and arrive early or right on time.
do you have to deal with like horses'
Oh
personalities and
yeah,
like
yep.
are they difficult?
They can be. They're just like people.
Yeah.
We don't always get along with people around
I don't
us,
want
and
somebody messing with my shoes.
yeah. So, but 99% of the time, the horses that I work with are very good to deal with. So I've been very fortunate to work on some very nice animals and owners, things like that. And so yeah, just real glad that I've been able to kind of have it smooth here so far.
I know one of the things that, like, a lot of people love and, like, they fantasize about I fantasize about everybody fantasizes about the idea of working for yourself and not having to answer to somebody,
Hmm.
right? Like, being able to set your own schedule and be like, "Well, I just work when I wanna work,
Yep.
and I'll just go home when I wanna go home."
Hmm.
But then when you get into that, it's hard to put the work down. It's hard to because you just you feel like you're not doing enough, or you feel like maybe you're drowning in work and it just never ends. How do you manage that? How do you
Um,
mitigate that? Or how do you, like, go about that?
so
Is it healthy for you? Like, is it a healthy balance for you?
yeah, I think I have a pretty good work life balance. I don't work on the weekends. I set that, at the very beginning of my career. I was like, I absolutely love what I do. It's the greatest career in the world, and nobody's going to convince me otherwise. And but I was like, I have other hobbies too. I love what I do, but I need a break. I need more of a mental break sometimes than a physical break.
Sometimes when you do the things that you love doing, it just becomes a job.
Yep, and I don't wanna, I've seen so many others be completely burnt out, and they hate what they do, and I've seen people like that, and I'm like, I never wanna be like that. And I've had people ask me, they're like, "Well, how do you get a day off?" I said, "I make time." Just like anything, you gotta make it. We all have the same 24 hours in a day, and it's up to us to make that time. And you know, you know, I try not to make excuses for myself. And and then even when it comes to my phone, I have a time where if somebody reaches out to me, if it's past, 6 o'clock and it's not an emergency, it's not going to be an emergency the next day. I'll get back to you. And because I don't want to be on my phone all night getting back with people. And it's the same thing with any other business. They all have open and close hours,
Mhm.
and I think people need to be respectful of, in the equine industry, us as professionals, they need to, know that we have lives too. And, we're not, only subject just to them. We have a lot of other people that we've got to get back to. And, But I made a rule in my business that I get back with people within 24 hours. I really tried to, and if something, if I miss that or something, I make it a point to, let the person know, I'm sorry I didn't get back to you in that amount of time, but I really try to make that a big part of my business.
Yeah, I mean, because your business is solely based on customer
Hmm.
service, right? Like, you're trying to balance the customer service as well as your other customers that you have, as well as your home life.
Hmm.
It's a tough balance, especially when it's just you
Yep.
running it. Um, what does it take? Let's say somebody wanted to get into being a farrier. Like, what do you need in order to start that business? Do you need like certain equipment? Obviously you need the skill set. You need to
Yeah.
know what you're doing.
I tell people, I'm like, you better have a lot of tenacity, a lot of, toughness to you, because this career is tough. It's gonna throw you down, and
Is it physically
it
demanding?
is. Yep, physically and mentally demanding. We're humans too, just like everybody else. We have bad days, and we got to leave that at the truck sometimes and go and do our work, and really not let it affect our work. But I tell people, have some tenacity to you, because there's going to be days that, aren't great days, but you've just got to go out there and do the work. And when you need to take a day off, take it off. Don't worry about it. Just set some time apart for yourself, and get your mind right and get back to it. So start out with that, and either apprentice with somebody before you go to school, or you can just jump right into school. And I think either are good. So those couple things I think you need to start out with, and then just horsemanship.
Horsemanship. I
I
like.
you know I knew a couple people in school that really weren't around horses that much, and they did fine. I don't think they were any worse than somebody else, but I think in your career it'll help in the long run. Body language. Horses are big on body language, and if you're not paying attention, it can get you hurt. And that's almost impossible to teach sometimes.
What are some signs of something? I mean, I'm sure every horse is different,
Mhm.
but what are some signs that would a horse would display to you that would show you that they're about to do something that would hurt you?
Oh, I mean, I look at their eyes, their ears, things like that, how their body's moving, around me. And like I said before, I guess you could say I'm third generation in my family that's had horses or done things with horses. And so I just was born into it. It just comes like second nature to me. Not everybody grew up like that. Some people got it into it later in life, and still, have great careers with horses and things like that. But just a know-how, horsemanship or horse sense. Sometimes that's hard to teach somebody. I think either you got it or you don't. But be around horses, and get to know, how they are. And I think it helps you out in the long run.
Yeah, I would imagine. I would imagine it's pretty similar to like having a dog where you learn the things that are gonna set it off.
Mhm.
Like I remember we had a German Shepherd and she was the best dog ever. My daughter would lay on the dog and pull her ears and when she was like a toddler. And the dog would she would just lay there.
Yep.
Just lay there and be like, "Oh, okay, I'll let you do it." Never ever bitter. Never.
Yeah.
But then you get some dogs, if you do that to it like, I remember I had a German Shepherd when I was a kid, and I was throwing water at it, and it bit me,
Mhm.
but my other German Shepherd wouldn't have done that.
Yep. No, I think, same thing with horses. I think, you can do a lot with them, and, some will be just fine with you messing around with them, and others, maybe have shorter fuse. But, just be smart around horses. They're big animals, and a lot of people that aren't used to them, they just see a big animal and they get a little scared. But I think if you kind of are, show some confidence around them, I think that helps everybody in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, Now you said in the beginning that you feel like you're making a difference.
Mhm.
How do you feel like you're making a difference? in
You
the things that
know,
you do?
it's just, how I guess carry myself day to day. I try to make a positive impact on what I'm doing with people around me or what I'm doing with my work, things like that. And just trying to be, I guess a light out there. I think, sometimes this world can get kind of dark, and I think with people being positive, bringing good things out, I think it helps, with everybody with everything going on. And so I think there's just too many good things out there, and too many things that bring us together than divide us. So I try to think on the positive.
There are. There are.
I
If you watch the news,
yeah,
you wouldn't know.
I keep the news off, and I'm a glass, pretty full kind of person. I'm about the most optimistic person you can think of, and I think some people get almost annoyed with my optimism sometimes, but I'm like, you know what? There's just too many good things out there in this life, and too many good people out there, and things to do to focus on the negative things. And I can't be around negative people. It just drags me down.
Oh, it's draining.
Drains me, wears me out. And I'm like, I got to be around positive, motivational people. I want to get around people that just fire me up, and I'm ready to go. It's this thing with like some of these contests and competitions and clinics, and that we have for farriers and things like that. It's a thing where I'll go to a clinic and go listen to somebody, or pay to listen to somebody work on a horse, or I'll be involved in something like that, and spend money to be there all weekend. And Monday morning, I'm pumped and ready to go to work. And show me somebody else that's like that with a different profession. I don't see it very often, where you go with these continuing education clinics, and you're just so pumped and motivated to go try something new on Monday, and something that I think really helps the industry and really helps the horse.
That's a really good point. I've been to some like motivational things in the past, and you come out of that with like a new fire, like for life. Like you're like, oh man, like I'm just so more. I want to be so much more dedicated and disciplined. I want to do this. I want to do that. I'm going to do this, and it just overall helps you be a better person. When you said that, like a lot of people don't do that, I literally I had like a thought that went to my work, because where I work, it's like such a like dog eat dog world with management, and the way that they lead. I'm like, man, it's terrible. Like I can't imagine, like if I was a CEO of this business, I'd be like, every manager has to go to some sort of like retreat or some sort of like management like course or something that's going to like inspire management to want to just like be better leaders.
Hmm.
And you have to I wish I could explain it better, but like the leadership is terrible. Where like we have our bosses, and then we have like a higher level boss over them. And their bosses hate their lives just as much as we hate our lives because of those bosses.
Hmm.
And it's like, man, like people should not feel that way. People should want to come work for you. They should want to be happy. They shouldn't be intimidated by you or fearful of you. They should look at you like, oh, wow, that's a leader. That's somebody who's confident. That's somebody who's trustworthy. That's somebody who's motivating and inspiring. But yeah, it's not like that.
Yeah.
So when you said that, it made me think of that.
Yep. Well, and I think that is very vast. You go into some of these workplaces or different things that people do, and you hear some of these coaches talk about culture of what different things are going on in their organization,
I just spilled water on me.
whether that's athletic, business, you name it. I think it's culture, and what you're trying to get out of either your players, your employees, things like that. I think some people are just going in, punching a time card, and checking the boxes, and then they go home. And but other people are making a real difference. And I'm reminded of for example, my parents. My parents are such a motivation to me. They're teachers here, and I've seen them all my life just grind, just work hard and, make it through tough times. And, teachers are definitely not paid enough, in my opinion, with everything that they've got to put up with.
And they're some of the most inspire they definitely need to be paid more, but
Yep.
they're some of the most influential people in society. I mean, I think about like even my kids, they're in school and they talk about their teachers all the time. And every single teacher that they have, they love. And I'm like, man, they like that teacher's definitely not getting paid enough to care
Yep.
that
Yep.
much. And I remember like when I was young, I also had teachers that I admired and that I looked up to and that inspired me. And I just like, man, they do not make enough money
Yep.
at all.
And, so just that, that was a big motivation for me with my parents, and seeing how they went to work every day, and just strive to do better for their students, for the community. And
What did they teach?
so my mom's just taught a variety of different grades and classes, things like that. And
No specific subject or
no, and then my dad has wide variety of business and technology, and I'm sure there's other things that he's doing that, he's just trying to do the next thing, newest thing, finding out the newest thing to do better for his students and for
he's
the.
still teaching.
Yeah, still teaching. And I don't know if he'll ever retire. He just loves it so much. And but no, my parents are such great teachers. And I think back about my time in Kentucky, and again, I'm always reminded and just very thankful of the impact that those instructors had on me. And I don't know if they know what they've done for me, but it means a lot. It means the world that,
What kind of things did they like when you say that? Like what kind of what comes to mind when you say that?
So for example, just an appreciation for the craft and for those that came before me and set the groundwork and things like that. And with Farrier, I mean, this goes back thousands of years, but just everything that they made me appreciate those that have come before me. And just the standard of excellence that they put in front of me, something to strive for. And I don't think by any means I've reached the top. I've tell people, I'm like, the top of one mountain is the bottom of the next, so keep climbing, don't give up. It's just another day. Keep working hard. And but those things, just an appreciation for those that came before me, and something to strive for, something to work hard on. You can't just go through the motions, because every horse, every hoof is different every day. You never know sometimes what you're going getting into. Even uh, horses that you've been working on for the last several years, could be something different that day, something you're trying to figure out, something like that. So that's, I guess, what makes it exciting to go to work every day is, I'm not just punching a time card. I'm not just, you know, uh, doing the same thing every day over and over. And but yeah, so those things right there, I think, are something that I look back and can put my mind on of what they've done to kind of make me strive for something to go off of.
I would imagine that when you're working with like creatures and like such a majestic one too,
Mhm.
because I think horses are, I hate this. I have to like look there to switch cameras. I got to figure something out. But I think of horses as like majestic animals because they're so big and I don't know, just like the way they move is so almost like beautiful. Like I don't know, you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
it's majestic. To me. I didn't grow up around them, so I have, I guess, a weird, relationship with that, but, um, I would assume that when you're working around creatures like that, you have a it's like people that work at like a animal hospital, like, they have a great appreciation for the animals, they just love animals, they love working with different breeds of different dogs, different cats, they just love them. You have a great appreciation for life um and you're making a positive impact on a life.
Mhm.
So yeah, I could imagine that every single day would be kind of rewarding in a
Yep.
sense.
And these animals can't. speak like me and you can speak, but I think we were put here to be good stewards of these animals and uh the things around us to make an impact. And so I'm just a little part in this whole thing. And so just again, very grateful to be able to do it.
Now, when we talked before, you were telling me that I don't know if you wanna talk about it, your wife
Hmm.
and how you guys are you're opening up a what was it called? Help me out.
A therapeutic
A
riding
thank you.
facility. Yep.
Yes.
So yeah, that's our plan in the next few years. We want to open up a facility that is inclusive to everybody, able-bodied riders, or anybody who wants to come, special needs riders, things like that. She has a real passion for that. And I think you have to. I don't think anybody can just do it. I think you have to have a real gift for it, and she certainly does. But yeah, that's our plan in the next several years is to acquire some land and to build an arena there.
Would it be
And
like an indoor
it
arena?
would, yep.
Yeah.
And just be uh, kind of a place for people to come to and work with people in that facility. And just kind of add another facility here in Michigan. There's not many, and so I think that would be a good thing for us. And
Would that be
uh,
like a nonprofit?
it could be, there are some places that are nonprofit and some that aren't. It just kind of depends on how you want to structure that whole thing that you want to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I only know of one, and we talked about that the last time, and, but, like, that's the thing with, like, special needs people,
Mhm.
right? Like, they, oftentimes use animals to help with sensory things, right?
Yeah, they do. Or uh, there's some people that aren't as physically able to do things on the ground, that when they're on the back of a horse, they can move a lot more freely. Just
Really?
how horses move and how their whole skeletal system moves when they're on top of a horse. It's almost as if they were walking.
What?
So yeah, there's a lot of benefits with horseback riding, with just about anybody. So
So, do you have to train a horse specifically for that? Like a dog, like you would train like a therapeutic dog?
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of these therapy programs that can only take certain horses, just because these horses are going to work well for their program. And other horses, not that they're bad horses, it just doesn't work out for them. So and the life of a therapeutic horse is it's not easy. They're working hard too. And they got a lot of jobs that they have to do. So always be thankful for the therapy horse. I think they're kind of sometimes almost forgotten a little bit, but they work hard.
It sounds like you're incorporating your family into this whole, like
Hmm.
it's almost like a full circle. Like
Yep.
you have your horse business, and then your wife is going to be, kind of, I would assume, managing this other
Hmm.
business. You have kids, right?
I do. I have one son.
So
Yep.
are they riding horses or involved in some way?
Yeah, I mean, my son just turned 1, and we got him on the back of a horse.
I said they. You said you have one son.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I'm
yeah.
also tired.
That's okay. No, yeah, we got him on the back of a horse when he was about 6 weeks old. And just carry on that tradition and family legacy. And because it's just the way we want to raise our family. It's just the people around us and the way of life that we see fit. We kind of subscribe to a lot of the same principles and practices that the people in kind of the equine world kind of adhere to. And
What does that word mean?
adhere.
No, a queen or what did you say? What
Equine.
equine? Yeah.
Equine, it's just short for equestrian, horse.
But what does it
Yeah.
stand for? Do you know? I
There's
wanna
some
know.
some long, probably Latin term for it.
You can continue going. I'm gonna
But
look it up.
yeah. So anyways, but yeah, so that's kind of the world we want to keep our family in. And So that's what we want to do with that.
Okay, wow, it's a very short description. A rider or performer or on horseback or relating to horse riding. So you would be considered an equestrian?
Sure, yeah, I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah, you can
What is your job title
for
for your job?
just Farrier.
A farrier.
Yeah,
Okay.
yep, yep.
Okay.
Nope, people can call me anything they want, just don't call me late for dinner.
Nobody wants to be called late for dinner. Um, yeah, wow. Um, where were we going with this? Um, now, all right. So, what are your like? Do you have any like specific goals or anything as far as your business and where you want to take it? And I guess where can also people find your business?
So, I guess things that I wanna, I guess, strive for, things like that, is just getting better. I mean, it's I'll never know it all by any means. I know, uh, some men and women that are the absolute best at what they do in this trade, and they're still striving. And so, and I'm light years behind them, so it's motivating for me. I don't look at it as something to be discouraged about by any means, just something to chase. And you know, I heard a quote by somebody, I can't remember his name, but he said there's always something to chase. And I'm a big believer in that. I get up every day and I'm ready to, I'm like a lion out there. I'm just ready to attack the day, and just motivated, just hungry to get at it, learn something new. And I tell people, I'm like, try to learn one new thing today. And even if you think it's small, just try to learn something new today, and carry that on in your life. And because otherwise, I think people just become so stagnant, and they just they walk through this world like a zombie. And again, it just goes back to those unmotivated people that I just can't be around.
I also like I try telling people to do one hard thing a
Yep,
day, at least one hard thing a day,
yep,
because when you do one hard thing a day, it makes everything else easier.
yep.
So like even if something hard pops up, that's not as hard as the thing that you did
Yeah,
earlier.
I heard one gentleman talk about, he was given a commencement speech for something, and he said, "Start every day." He said, "Make your bed."
Yeah.
He said, "Because even if you don't do anything else the rest of the day, at least you got up and made your bed, and you can feel accomplished by that." And so, and I think there's deeper meaning to that.
It's a snowball effect too,
Yeah,
because like once you make your bed, you like, oh wow, what else can I accomplish?
yep. And so lots of things I'm striving for, just uh, uh, growing my business in a positive way, and being a positive impact on the people around me. And really being a light to the world around me and to others around me. And so those couple things, that's kind of what I'm looking to strive for. And I guess to find me, you can look at me up on Instagram or Facebook at Ballard Farrier Services. And I try to stay pretty active on that. And I've had a couple people reach out to me and tell me to maybe get a TikTok. So maybe one day, but for now, it's just Instagram and Facebook. You can find me.
Okay. Yeah, TikTok, it's not fun. Yeah, it's not fun at all. But social media is really not fun.
Yep.
Um, having to constantly put content out, or like when I was going pretty hardcore with the podcast, like and that's the thing, you have to like, I mean, you have a business, you have to constantly market yourself, and
Hmm.
and then you got to try to figure out like what kind of content do I want to keep putting out, and videos and photos, and it's a whole ordeal. It's like you almost need somebody to work for you
Yep. Yep.
to run your social media.
Yep.
Yeah. Um, now, is there anything else you want to add to this episode? We're running about 45 minutes.
Yeah, it's up to you. We're just letting
Oh,
it roll. So
okay.
hopefully we don't run out of film.
Definitely won't run out of film. I think the lights might go off before
Yep.
that.
Yep.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't really have any more questions about your business. I do I do so what one thing, I don't know if you remember, but I wanted you to like have a quote
Mhm.
or some sort of phrase or something that you want to leave the next guest, which will be Saturday.
Yeah.
Um, what is that?
Uh, I think I said it earlier, but there's always something to chase. I mean, and you can really look into that and, wake up every morning and be like, all right, what am I chasing today? Am I chasing better health? Am I chasing, something better in life? Am I chasing something at my job? You know, lots of things you can look at that quote for, and I think you can apply it to anybody. And you don't have to be a farrier, you don't have to be a teacher, you don't have to be anything. You can just be you. And like I said, just there's always something to chase. So look for those opportunities, look for open doors. And you know, I one thing that I guess I always try to chase is, networking with people. Because the worst thing they're gonna say is no. And because I used to be one that I was like, well, I probably shouldn't ask that person, they're way ahead of me, or they're so much, higher than me or smarter than me or whatever. And the people that I've gone to and reached out and wanted to learn from, and there it's been such a great thing to do, and I'm so glad I've done it, because the things that I've learned, the people I've met, those things I think have really benefited in both my personal and professional career. And I wish I could thank everybody that's uh, helped me out in my career, or just in life. But I think we'd be here for a while, so I'll keep it short. A couple people I'll thank is again the American Farriers Association. So many people involved in that. The Michigan Horseshoers Association, that's my local chapter here in Michigan. A ton of people to thank in that aspect. And then just everybody else I meet along the way in life, whether it's clients or friends or whatever. And a good quote I heard or saw one time, I can't remember who said it, but it says, "The owner pays me, but I work for the horse." And that's so true in my line of work, or anybody that deals with horses, is we really need to make it about the horse. That's where any of us that has a profession with horses, that's how we make our living. That's how we make it through day to day, and without the horse, we wouldn't be doing anything. So just so grateful for the horse. And just it's been a blessing in my life to have the horse, for so many things, and it's gotten me through a ton of things in life. And so again, very very thankful for the horse, and very thankful for everybody that has helped me in my career.
That's the thing about like other people that are ahead of you or that have more knowledge is they always want to talk. They don't care.
Yeah.
They want to tell you about what they're doing and how they did it and how to get there. Because I mean, at least somebody who's confident and successful, um, generally, because they're not intimidated to that you're going to steal their
Yeah,
business or what.
they've been where we're at too. And
Yeah,
they probably asked somebody else one time. And I'm telling everybody that I see, I'm pushing for the trades. There's a time and a place for college and a 4-year degree, but it's not for everybody. And so I'm a huge proponent of the trades, whether it's engineers, or engineering, or welding, or mechanics, or anything like that. There's so many different things out there that the trades provide. And
there's actually I had a lady on my podcast who worked for a union, and she this union will put you through trade school while working, and you come out of the program debt free.
mhm.
So like most of these trades you can get in with like no debt whatsoever.
Yep, I paid off school in probably 2.5 years. And
Wow.
I know kids I went to school with that they either have a degree that they're not really using, or they're halfway through a degree, and so far into debt that they can't keep their heads straight.
My favorite is the people that go to college and don't finish, and then now they have all the
Yeah.
debt and don't use their what they went to school for.
Yep, yep. So again, big proponent of the trades. I think our public schools need to push that more. Bring back wood shop class. Bring back mechanic shop. Bring back all those things for the kids that a 4-year degree is just not for them, and that's okay. I think for the longest time, schools used to push down on the trades, the blue collar workers, as somebody that just wasn't smart enough for college, couldn't get through it, and but when it's 11 o'clock on a Friday night and you turn on your shower and no water comes out, you're not going to be calling somebody that a doctor.
Right.
You're not going to be calling somebody else. You're going to be calling the plumber. And so we ought to be thankful for the tradesmen and women out there and push that. And
Liberal arts degree.
yeah, yeah, right. So, anyways, but yeah, push the trades, and I think it'll be a better world out there.
I think there's a huge push for trades now. I mean, they have a shortage of so many trades
Yep.
where they need people. But what I really think needs to happen is in high school. I think high school needs to be like the lane, like the playing field for like kids discovering what they want to do. And like, let's say, all right, we're gonna have you test. Like, are you qualified to go to college? Or will you be qualified? Let's kind of test throughout high school and see like would you benefit? Do you want to go to college?
Mhm.
Or should we like navigate your education in high school based on a trade? And then like let's say like there's many people I went to school with that they didn't feel like college was for them and
Mhm.
they went more the trade route. And like for those people like an education in high school that's geared towards like a trade would be best
Yep.
in high school. And that way, when you get out of high school, you already have your trade certificate or whatever you need
Yep.
in
Yep.
order to do that line of work.
And I'm reminded, with these storms that we just had, the linemen and women that came and got the power back on for us, those people make good money, and a
Yeah,
lot of
they're
them,
making like 30, $40 an hour plus time and a half or hazard pay or whatever it is,
yep,
storm work.
not all
Like,
of them, went and got a college degree, and I feel like a lot of times kids are stuck or feel like they gotta, go a certain way and be like, okay, well, this is just the next thing I do is I graduate high school and I go straight into college, and so either college or the military. And but I think any of those options, you figure out what you want to do, and you don't have to have it all figured out. And but yeah, just very thankful for the trades. You have Mike Rowe with the Dirty Jobs, and he he's done a ton of scholarships for a lot of these trade programs, and we need to push trades for both men and women. And especially with what I do, or other trades, it's such a male dominated trade, and I say, bring women into it, let them loose. I mean, they can do just as good a job as anybody. Doesn't matter what gender you are, you can do a good job. So that's I'm a big believer in that.
I think there's a shortage of women in a lot of trades.
Mhm.
It's like that in a lot of things. I mean, is there a reason for that?
Oh, I think it's just a lot of old beliefs that they don't think women can do it. And I know women that do what I do, and they're fantastic at what they do. And so I think it's a lot of old guys set in their old ways. And I had a friend of mine call me today, and she's a small business owner, runs a fantastic business. She runs a business called Equestrian Solutions, and they go all throughout Michigan, and providing different services for what they do. And she was talking about that to me today, and just pushing for women in the trades. And yeah, I'm a big proponent of that. And whether it's being a farrier, whether it's working for them, welding, whatever you want to do, uh, you know, again, it goes back to my little slogan I said earlier. There's always something to chase. So whatever you want to do in this life, there's always something to chase.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that
Yeah.
slogan or quote or
Yep.
yeah, I'm always chasing something. There's always something that I'm chasing, whether it's like physical. Usually it's physically.
Yep.
Like uh that one day we were supposed to do the podcast. Oh my gosh. I signed up for a run that day in Grand Rapids. And that was like something I was chasing. Literally.
Yep.
Quite literally. But yeah, there's always something to chase, whether it's education or physical or mental or emotional, spiritual. I mean, there's always literally something that you could be working on. So
Yep.
I like that. Anything else, Noah?
Nope.
All right.
I think that's all. And
Well, this was, dude, we went 55 minutes. This was longer than the last time.
Awesome.
It's crazy. I feel like you warmed up too. You feel more comfortable.
Yeah. I'm always warm unless I'm outside. So I'd rather be warm.
That's true.
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks again for doing the podcast. Look forward to doing it again.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
And everybody can go to your socials, which is what again?
Ballard Farrier Services.
All right, Instagram and Facebook.
You bet.
All right, awesome. Thank you.
Yep.